Well, I hope you're doing okay, and you and your family, you're all safe and well. I just wanted to say really a big thank you, first of all, to all of those people who are leaving lovely comments both on YouTube and on the various forums that I'm posting these videos on. It's really sort of gratifying to know that people appreciate your work and that they're interested in what you do. So I say many thanks for that, and also for all the new subscribers that I seem to be picking up on YouTube. So your support is really appreciated in these really strange times. So thanks again. So if you watched the previous video, you remember that I showed you the end of the central core of the piece of plywood and the supporting piece of wood going through it. I said who would want to buy an instrument with that as the end view. Well, since then that end view has changed somewhat, and here it is. Hope you can see that. So what I've done is I've bent some beautiful koa wood and laminated that to the inner core. So that is what you'll be seeing now on the outside of the instrument, around the sides. Where the points are, I put some pieces of maple on. Where the sides come round and meet for a point, that's incredibly fragile. So the best thing to do, and what I always do on instruments with cutaways, is flatten that off and say put a piece of hardwood on with the grain running at 90 degrees to the sides, and that's a much more robust point than say just having the sides. And as these are in maple, and once the instrument is coming together more, I will actually bind it like you would an acoustic instrument in the same matching maple. Anyway, that's the core then with these koa sides. Let me just show you how I got here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is use the hot bending iron to bend the sides for the chambered E-Mando, and what I'm using is some really lovely koa. So I've got one of the sides in soak for about 10-15 minutes. I've got a mark here, and I've got a mark on the body, so that's so that I can get everything aligned in the position that I want to. And I always start off with the sharpest bend, so we're going to start off with this area here. So onto the iron, and gently does it. Right, so that's the first part there, that waist. So I'm quite happy with that. So now I'm going to gradually work my way around here. So that's that first side bent now. Obviously I've got to do the other ones. Then I'm going to wait 24 hours for the wood to dry out properly before I actually glue it on. But yeah, that was quite successful. Quite successful. It took about, I suppose, about 10 minutes to perfect that bend. These ones will be a bit tricky. This one will be a bit trickier, I assume. But no, very pleased with that. So I should crack on and do the others. Well, there you go. You can see that I bent the 4 pieces of koa. So the next stage is obviously to glue them on. When I cut out the body, I was very careful that I kept the offcuts as much intact as I possibly could, because what they're going to do is they're going to help me clamp these in place. So that gluing on hopefully will be relatively straightforward, but that's a job for tomorrow. So I've already glued one side on, so I'm having a bit of a dry run before I glue this side on, which is the side that you saw me bend in the video there. So I'm just checking that all the clamps are in the right position, and then obviously I'll take this apart and apply the glue. Right, so I'm just mixing up some epoxy resin to glue the core side to the inner core. As you probably know, traditional wood glues don't work particularly well on end grain. Therefore it seemed appropriate to use epoxy, and the other reason being I'm using this 30-minute epoxy, so that will give me plenty of time to assemble everything, get the clamps in place without the panic associated with tight bond. So give that a thorough mix. Right, so put the glue on. Right, so that's completely covered. Good quantity of epoxy there. Get the end nicely lined up. A piece of tape to hold it in place. Right, a recent addition has been these Craig clamps and bench docks, and I'm using them for so many things I didn't even know I wanted to use them for. Right. No, you see, now that's not quite, but as I said to you, using 30-minute epoxy, I can manipulate and manoeuvre things a bit better. Ah, that's better now. You see, I can see some glue oozing out there. Didn't see that before. Right, excellent. So had that been tight bond, I would have been really panicking. Okay, and then here, what I have done is on these clamping pieces put some masking tape on and a rub of candle wax, because obviously the epoxy will stick anything to anything practically. Which way does it go around? That way. Okay. Last clamp in there. That's it. And we're done. 24 hours and that'll be off. Well, I hope you found that of interest. So what's the next step then? Well, obviously there's a back and there's a top to be made. The back will be from some matching koa wood, and the top I've been mulling over, and what I'm tempted to do is to use some more of this southern yellow pine. I really like the contrast between the light and the dark, and also I really like this bold grain. So I'm very tempted to do, as I say, this southern yellow pine top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to carve it slightly, a bit like a Les Paul, that sort of thing. Anyway, that's all to come. And in the meantime, as always, keep safe. And again, thanks for watching. You take care. Cheers.